Wait, never mind. Alright, yeah, go.
I have to wait for my music. It's taking forever.
And his name is John C.
Hey guys, welcome to your very first video lesson. So this week we are talking about double exposure. A double exposure means you're taking two photos on top of each other, so they are on the same picture plane. So the same piece of film and then a digital sensor, it's really just on top of each other on that sensor. So you are going to be making a fake double exposure using either Photoshop Mix if you want to download it on your phone, or a website version of the similar called Pixlr. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. You are going to be making a double exposure, which means you need two photographs. One is of a person. It can be you, it could be a family member, it could be a celebrity, and then you need some sort of other picture. I'm going to do a mountain, so a landscape. You could do a cityscape, you could do trees. I'm going to leave it very open. I want you guys to be able to get creative. What's going to happen is I'm going to start with the website version, the Pixlr, and then you can jump to this point. That's hopefully where I'll put the timestamp if you are doing it on the Photoshop Mix app. Pixlr is spelled P-I-X-L-R. You can Google that, or just type in pixlr.com. So I'm going to pick Pixlr E.
It'll look like this. What you're going to do is over on the left hand side you're going to click open image, and of course you should have your images. I should have said that first. You should have your images on the computer already. So airdrop them, email them, drop them to the desktop, whatever you need to do. And then I'm going to open one. It's going to ask you what size. I always do full HD, and you're going to press apply. You can see it kind of looks like a simplified Photoshop, if you will. If you don't even know what Photoshop looks like, don't worry about it. So all your tools are on the left hand side, and then your layers are over here, and that's like in Photoshop Mix. So we're going to press that plus button over by layers, and it's going to ask you what do you want to add. I want an image, and I'm going to pick my landscape. So these are some mountains that I took a picture of in Ecuador. Alright, as you can see, it cropped it to fit because one of them is vertical and one of them is horizontal. If that bothers you, what you can do is click, and you can see how, and then zoom out over here, and you can see how big it actually is. So I am just, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to undo that, Control Z. There's also undo over here, and it tells you that. But I forgot to make sure. So over here it says aspect, fixed or free. Fixed means no matter how big or small it stays the regular size. If I did free, I could like make it a little shorter, make it a little taller. So that's what that is. So I'm just gonna make sure it was on fixed, resize to get what I want. Then we're going to go to our background. The first image is going to be locked. If you see on the layer over there, you just want to double click that so you can mess around with it. And I'm actually going to drag it up so it's in front, and I'm going to resize that as well. So I think we have that over there, like that. So you can see I'm kind of planning where I want my face to be in the sky, and yeah, I think that's where we're going. Now it looks a little wonky right now, but we're going to fix that after we edit it to be what we want. Now that that one is on top, we need to change the transparency, that opacity, if we remember that word. So the three dots over on that layer, you're going to click on, it'll give, you can name it, blend it, and then transparency. So that's that opacity. How see-through is it? We're going to make sure we can see through it, like all the way. So as much as you want, and it'll go away by itself. Now that I can see, I actually do want to make my face a little smaller, because I want you to be able to see most of my face over the mountain. Now we are good. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is change the opacity back up because we positioned it where we want, but I don't want you to see any of the background, so I am zooming in And then we are going over here to our tool area where you will see lots and lots of buttons, but what I want is this magic wand. And they all kind of tell you what they do, so if you decide there's an easier way to do something, by all means. I'm going to click, and you can see that it's picking up some of my head, and I don't like it. So the tolerance tells you how sensitive it is, like how much of the same it's going to pick out. So I'm going to change it from that to 6, so it's much pickier, like that, and then I'm going to press delete. Make sure your background is clicked, the one or which one you're using. And I'm just going to start deleting these major areas. Another easy way to do it is with the lasso. If I zoom in some more. So if you pick the lasso tool, you can drag your mouse around a certain shape, and then if you connect them, it'll connect, and then you can delete. That goes a lot faster. Alright. There's also, of course, the eraser, which is another great way, and you can just blatantly erase. Over here you can change how soft it is, so if it has that sharp edge or it's a little blurry, and then like also how big it gets. And they have lots of pre-made ones if you would like. Alright, so now that my background is gone, I'm going to go back and press those 3 dots and make sure I got all of it. So I'm going to change that opacity real quick. And then I'm going to erase everything that's supposed to be behind the mountain. That's that overlap. So I'm actually going to use the eraser tool this time and make my brush a lot bigger. And I'm going to follow the mountain's ridge, like so. I'm actually going to zoom in here. And I'm going to make this even fainter because the white, undo. The white is kind of hard to see perfectly. Alright, and make my brush a little smaller. And get the details. The details are what matter. Because if it's sloppy, you're going to notice right away and you're going to hate it. Alright. So now we're going to bring it back a little bit so you can see me more, but I'm still transparent, so it looks like those cowboys. I really wish, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about, because otherwise I look crazy, but maybe I'll show you guys an example. And then last thing I did is crop, so I pressed the crop button, and I'm cropping it and pressing enter so that you can just see that part. And now that is it. So I could add like 50 more of me in the background if I wanted to, but let's say I'm done. You're going to press File, you're going to press Save, you're going to name it something, preferably your name. JPEGs are preferable, or PNGs are fine, but only those. Please make sure it's on, the quality is high, and then download, and then it will be here. So when you click on it, you have it. Ta-da! Again, if you have any questions about this process, you can email me or see me during my office hours. We don't have class necessarily, so Mondays and Wednesdays I have 2 hours open on those days where you guys can just pop in. If you need help, I can go on my computer and show you how to do it, or on my phone and show you how to do it on the app. Or if you just want to say hi, check in, I'd love to hear from y'all and see how y'all are doing. Alright, but that is Pixlr, so that's how to do that on this website. And now I'm going to do the same thing, but on the app. Alright, so now, or welcome if you skipped ahead, I'm going to show you how to do this project with the app. So, you do need to download Photoshop Mix, the MIX one, and you will need to have to create an account. It's free, just use an email. You can use your CMIT email. Open Photoshop Mix. What you're going to see is there will probably be 2 fake projects there. I deleted mine, so it's empty. You're going to press the plus sign at the top. You're going to pick an image. Of course, you should have the images you're going to use on your phone ready to go. We're going to pick on my iPhone. We're going to do recents because I know they're there. We're going to pick our landscape first. Doesn't really matter. Again, we did this on the iPad, so we should be generally familiar with how it works. You're going to press that plus sign in the circle above the square, And to add a layer, you're going to pick an image, and we're going to pick the face we're going to use. Don't judge my photos, please. It's going to ask you to resize, because mine is a landscape and a portrait. I'm not, so it's going to stay the same. And now we have our 2 images to work with. What you're going to do is get rid of that disgusting background in your portrait. Not that yours is disgusting, but mine, I don't like it. It definitely is easier if you use a really simple background when you take your picture, because it'll just be a clean cut. This one's going to take me a little longer. You're going to press cut out with the scissors at the bottom. We're going to make sure we're on subtract. Right now, I just clicked that layers thing so I could see. It's smart, so it will do it for me, which generally is fine. I always get nervous. Sometimes it can be a little judgy when it comes to what counts. You just zoom in. Oh, see, that's what I mean. Like, that's part of my head. So we're gonna have to come back to that area. Ah, no. Over here, let's see. Will you take that? See, that's what I'm talking about. So if it gets a little picky, we're going to have to do it ourselves. So you can use basic. Make sure you're on eraser, and you can literally just erase. And remember, you can always zoom in the same way you would zoom in on any photograph on your phone. The 2 fingers and the pinching, right? That's a really great, easy way. You can also use the lasso tool, which I don't know if we went over in class, but basically you would draw with your finger what you want to cut out like that. Oh, I was not on subtract. Subtract. Just draw with your finger, and it will delete that area. I'm going to cut my bangs off a little bit. Probably shouldn't have done that, though. So, we're going to go back and add. So if you make a mistake, you can just go back and draw back in the area you messed up on. Alright, so we cut ourselves out. And we're going to press check mark at the bottom, and now that is our new, our new layer. So now we got to position this to where we want it. And I'm going for, I know you probably have already been laughing at my face, I'm going for that, if you've ever seen that music video where the cowboys are screaming in the sky, and then someone remade it with cats. It's really worth it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I need to find it so you guys can see that in all its glory. But that's the aesthetic I'm going for. So I'm going to be like a giant face screaming in the sky. So I'm going to position myself where I want me, generally. Ooh, if these are in the way, you can get rid of them by pressing these little arrows in the top right corner, and then it's just what you see. So you can really position somewhere you want to be. And I want to be like this. I think that's where I want to be. So I'm going to bring those back now that I know where I want it to be, and we're going to tap on the person layer, and there's that opacity. Remember, that's how transparent it is, how see-through. We're going to change that so it's real see-through. And so now I can see the mountain through it. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Undo. And now I'm going to erase what's going to be behind the mountain, so you can't really see it because the mountain's in front. So we're going to press the mountain layer. We're going to press, oh no, I am incorrect. You're pressing the person layer, oh my gosh, and then cut out. We're zooming in. You're going to erase, and this one I'm actually just going to do basic because the smart tool doesn't know what you're doing. I cut too much. Yeah, so now that I did it, press that check mark, and I'm going to make myself a little less transparent so you can really see me, but you can choose. It just can't be completely, can't be completely, you can't make it solid. It has to be transparent a little bit. And so there you go. And so to save, you press that square with the arrow and you send it to your camera roll, and then you'll submit that.
Alright, so that is it for today and this week's lesson. Remember, you're going to have 2 assignments. One is the project I just showed you how to do, where you're going to make yourself a double exposure and get creative with it. I want to see what y'all can do, what crazy ideas you can come up with. Keep it appropriate, of course. And then the second part of that assignment is learning about Tawny Chapman, that awesome artist that is a local artist, and you'll watch a video about her and look at her website and answer some questions and get to feel for what she does with double exposure, and hopefully it'll get, inspire you to make something really cool. Yeah, I think that's it, so I will see you guys next time. Woo, I don't know how to end these yet. I do apologize. I know it's cringy. But yeah, see you guys next week.